Hi there, thank you so much for joining me again. I'm very grateful for all your previous views, your likes and your subscriptions. What we're going to do today is explore some teaching and learning ideas. Now, we haven't done one of those for a while, so I thought, well, we'd put that right. All you need to do is go to your favourite search engine, or maybe you want to try a different one if you like to live life on the edge, and type in Kahoot, and you should see a screen similar to this one. And Kahoot is a game-based learning platform. Kahoots are user-generated multiple choice quizzes which are accessed via a web browser or an app. And what that means is that you can approach a quiz in a couple of ways. One is, let's say you're in a classroom or a lecture theatre and you've got your projector on the interactive whiteboard or whatever it may be, and you project the quiz, and your learners can answer the questions through their smartphone, or it may be they want to answer through their PC that they're at, or perhaps might have something like a Chromebook. And then it's like a competition amongst themselves, or they can be divided into teams, so a number of students could share one device. Or it can be done entirely on an individual basis, whereby rather than having to look at one single screen, the learners look at the screen that's in front of them, so it might be their smartphone, etc., etc., and they work through at their own pace, and the results are recorded. I was very impressed by a friend of mine who used this in a very effective way, and we'll come back to that a bit later on. But let's get back to this. So here is my Kahoots. Okay, as I've said, I've made a few of my own over the years. Got a leap year quiz there, International Women's Day, World Book Day, and so forth. All sorts of different quizzes that I like to highlight at certain points of the year, big events, as well as some on Buddhism and Hinduism, etc. Now, what we're going to do is I want to show you something, because I'm not going to patronize you about how to set up an account or actually make a Kahoot. Okay, if you can use any form of presentation software, you can make a Kahoot. What I want to do is just show you how diverse and how ranged the topics are. So and this is live, by the way. Okay, I've not rehearsed this in any way, shape or form. You'll know this by now if you're a regular watcher of this channel. Okay, there's very little rehearsal or preparation time. So let's just type in let's do something on dinosaurs, because I do like a dinosaur. Okay, so we type in dinosaurs, and what we've got here is 92,000 results. Now, these are all made by people. Okay, these are all shared for everybody who is part of Kahoot. And I should say as well that Kahoot is free. Okay, there are a couple of stages where you can pay for, but this is the entirely free version. Okay, which I think is really exciting. So what we've got here is one from, let's just scroll down a little bit. Let's have a look at, well, this is kind of fun. Dinosaurs. I like the nice exaggeration there of exclamation marks. So what we can do is we can click on it, and this is a public Kahoot, so we can all use it. Okay, and you can see here this creator here. Okay, Mekahazilla created this 3 years ago. And you can actually have a look at the questions beforehand, okay, because they're always the biggest dinosaur, okay, and you can see the answers there, so you know, okay, what was what questions going to come up and what they'll look like and so forth, so you can think about your planning. Okay, and I think that's really good. Another thing you can do as well, okay, is that you can duplicate a Kahoot. So in other words, you can copy it and adapt it for your class, for your I know someone who even used it for as part of staff training at their business in a hair salon. You can adapt it accordingly, and what's quite a nice little touch as well is that the authorship, the original author, is still given credit, and I think that's a nice little way of building up that community. So there you are. There's a lot of songs on there, and should we do one more? Let's see if we can find out one more. Let's do one on, what's a sort of problem? Let's do one on, let's do one on ice. Okay, so anything in ice. Okay, yay, ice cream. Got some ice cream trivia. We've got break the ice hockey trivia, ice cream flavors, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. Very excited that one. Ice skating and ice skaters, Ice Age. Okay, can you name the logo? Ice Age. There's a whole load of different topics out there. Basically, if you can think of a topic, there's bound to be a Kahoot on it. So you can duplicate it and adapt it for your needs. And if there isn't one, you can just do it yourself. Okay. Something else I just wanted to show you as well, if I may. This is where it gets really exciting for learning opportunities. So every time a quiz is played, okay, a report is generated. Okay, what that means is that you can actually break down and see how the participants answered. Okay, so I've downloaded one already. I'm just looking at this through the Google Drive. Okay, and what we've got here is it. So I played an Easter quiz not too long ago, and I had 11 players. And what I can do is I can, first of all, it tells me who came first and who came last. Obviously, there's a really nice little feature here, is that when you set up a Kahoot and you set up a game, you can actually get it to generate random names, so it avoids any naughty nicknames or anything embarrassing. It just generates, it's all based around animals. You get Amazon echidna, super gecko, epic monkey, and that's brilliant because it gets rid of all the hassle of people going, I don't know what to call myself, but also just stops any naughtiness. But this is where it gets really interesting, because what you do is you get a total score, number of the correct answers, number of incorrect answers. You think, well, that's pretty good, but it can actually break it down even further. Okay, so it can tell you what question they got right. Now, their answers are based on not only getting it correct, but how quickly the participants answer as well. So you can see who was quickest, and you can also see as well, sorry, misclicked there. Okay, what questions they got right and got wrong, and you can scroll along. Okay, you get an amazing spreadsheet, and it's all done automatically. I'm just looking at it through Google Sheets. I haven't had to pay a penny for it. Okay, back to my friend who works at primary school or elementary school, if you're very kindly viewing this from across the pond. She got all her youngsters into the hall, the gymnasium. They all had a Chromebook, and she found lots of Kahoots about grammar and punctuation and spelling, and she set them all up, and they all had a go at answering at their own pace the questions about grammar, punctuation, spelling, and so forth. And she had an instant spreadsheet of their scores and how they were doing, and it saved her so much time, and the kids really enjoyed it. It can be quite divisive though, Kahoot. There are some people out there who feel it's very much based on low stakes learning, about just getting knowledge. And I understand that, but I think it's something just worth bearing in mind. Bloom's taxonomy, and Bloom is a theory of teaching and how we learn. And it is different hierarchies of how we sort of approach things in terms of our learning and understanding. And certainly at the top, you have sort of the narrow apex, the things that are really valuable in terms of produce new original work. Then you go down to things like justify, or so evaluate, then analyze and apply, understand. Then right at the bottom is remember, so recalling facts. Now, of course, that's at the bottom because we tend to value in education those who are able to understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and process will move up that scale. However, it is worth remembering. So yeah, it is worth remembering that it is right at the bottom. Yes, but it's the longest, it's the widest, it's the foundation. And certainly in the UK, we'll look at our qualifications for post-16, for our GCSEs and our A-levels. Knowledge is a really important part of it. Okay, and being able to memorize and to list and to repeat and to state, that's the foundations, and Kahoot's a good way of doing that. So that's our first thing I just wanted to share with you. Just a couple more, if I may. There's a fantastic BBC resource called In Our Time. Sort of just over 20 years ago, and it's a radio show where basically the host, Lord Melvin Bragg, he picks a topic or a theme, and he gets 3 people, 3 experts, sits them in a room, and they chat about it. And it's just really engrossing and engaging. And there is a whole host of subjects on here. And one of the things that is quite impressive. So just type in BBC in our time. Let's just go to as a listener's top 10. Just gives you a sense of the variety. So a bit of history, the year without summer, common sense philosophy. So it's a little bit there of sort of religion and coming under the wing there. You've got the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is one of the great sort of sort of the first sort of epic story of the time. And everything from photosynthesis, Romulus and Remus, and so forth. And the topics are wide and varied. Okay, so it can be used for a number of ways. So just for your own subject knowledge, if you're a teacher, I found it utterly invaluable in terms of understanding my subject knowledge, not just for religion and philosophy, but just really interesting finding about other subjects. One of my favourite ones is about water, and scientists still don't understand why ice is slippery, which completely blows my mind. Okay, but also might be for good for students to listen to. Okay, you might get them to listen to it and then answer some questions on it as a prep for homework, whatever it may be. Distance learning, write some notes, type some notes up. But it is worth having a look, and every single episode is available to download. And it is a little treasure trove of ideas. Okay, as I said, covering just an astonishing rate of topics. And then, if I may, you've been very patient, just a little trick on Google that was only shown to me relatively recently, but I was kicking myself. I didn't know about it earlier. Type in the word define and then colon, and then type in the word you want to understand. And I was doing some work on heaven and hell, and I thought, well, actually, it'd be quite nice to see what the word heaven actually means. And of course, you get the dictionary definition from Google. But this is the bit that really intrigued me. It's a little arrow down here, which you can click. So it gives you sort of the idea of it being a noun, a plural noun, etc., etc. Similar, so paradise, nirvana. But what I loved is phrases. But what I loved is this. It can actually show the origins of the word. The word heaven is origins in the Germanic and Old English and Dutch and German. It really helps put a word into context. Plus, I love this little bit here as well. It gives you a chart as to how the word has been used over time. And of course, did hell as well. I was doing a lesson on heaven and hell. I did exactly the same. And it was really interesting to think about how it comes from a Germanic origin, meaning to cover or hide. So it's a very simple way of using Google. But I certainly realised that for some lessons, whatever the topic might be, I thought, well, do I actually know what this word means? Am I communicating it clearly enough as to what it is all about and the origins of it? And it's just quite a nice little trick there, which I wish I'd been shown earlier. But there we go. That is all from me. As always, amongst yourselves, feel free to chat. And if you're able to, like and subscribe. But until then, enjoy your learning.